You know, I'm starting to believe there's karma is not a real thing. I've always kind of assumed it was and kind of lived by it, in a way. I mean, whether karma's a real thing or not, I'm always going to do the right thing just because I know that's what I should be doing. I don't like causing unnecessary harm and unnecessary negativity if I don't need to. So, whether karma's real or not, I'm not going to be out here and, do some horrible shit or, I don't know, just because, you know. Point is, because of karma, I don't think karma's real because here's the thing. There's some people. I was just thinking, man, I need I need to chill out. Let me get to the point. There's a guy named, I'm gonna leave his name out, but there's a guy who used to ride a motorcycle, and he got in a wreck. He's my age, 19, 20, and he lost his leg, part of his leg, and and the thought just crossed my head like, oh, I remember this dude was an asshole in high school. He like took advantage of this girl and all this stuff. And anyway, point is, the thought passed through my mind, oh, that's karma. But then I was like, nah, that's fucked up. That's fucked up. It's wrong to wish harm on anyone. You know, because people change. People can change. You shouldn't. Two wrongs don't make a right. The death penalty, in my opinion, is, I can't think of one instance where it's moral. Where it's moral to take someone else's life because of what they did. There's much worse things on earth than death. And so, if anything, subdue them to that instead of death, because I don't think it's anyone's right to take someone else's life away. I don't think that's anybody else's right. You can't take anyone else's life away. That's I feel like that's the most immoral thing, you know? I don't know. I don't know though, because there's some things that are worse than death, so maybe that's not the most immoral thing. But point is, there are people that are really good that have really bad things happen to them. And then in those instances, it's not karma. Bad things don't happen to them because bad things that they did in the past. Everybody's done bad things, but there's people out here that do horrible things and it never really catches up to them. And there's people that never do really bad things and they get hit the hardest. So I honestly don't think karma is as real as I used to believe, in my opinion. You know? I think it has more to do with luck and just randomness. I think this world, it's not made of a. I don't think there was a. I don't know if there was a God or if there was a creator or what. All I know is it's very random, it's very unorganized, and yet it's very organized. Because in some instances, there's horrible things in the world. Whoever the creator is or whatever the creator is allowed this thing to happen. It's not like the creator created us, so obviously he probably has control over other things too, and logically speaking. But yet horrible things exist. So it doesn't make sense to me why people say, "Oh, you know, I worked so hard. Thank God for this." I didn't do this work. God did it. No, you did the fucking work. Okay, you did the work. You deserve the recognition. You can say God did this all day long, but at the end of the day, you're the one who put the work in, not God. Maybe God, maybe your belief in a religion, whatever God it may be or whatever religion it may be, is what kept you going to reach your goal. But at the end of the day, it was you. Whether the God exists or not, it was you who did it. So that's another thing. It doesn't seem logical to give credit for something that someone or people do. It doesn't seem logical to give their credit to God when, you know, there's so many different gods, there's so many different religions. I don't know. I know that we're here for a reason, because I don't know that, but I feel like I know that because everything happens for a reason, right? You know? And it doesn't make sense. Why would we be here for no reason? Just logically speaking, there has to be some fucking reason why we're here, you know? And there's look at plants. I always say, okay, humans, we can adapt, we see things, we understand things, but look at plants. They don't have a brain. They don't have a central nervous system. Sometimes they can react to stimuli, but they're not conscious. They're not like animals. They're plants. They don't feel pain. Okay? And when you look at plants, it's interesting because they can adapt in very similar ways to humans and just animals and bugs, just life in general adapts to different environments, which is really interesting to me because it's like, how can a plant develop a genetic advantage, you know? Like, for instance, a Venus flytrap. Think about that. Like, how the hell, you know? What kind of mutation did it? I know it didn't happen all at once, but, you know, and then I look at it from another perspective, like, okay, well, maybe it wasn't, you know, somebody created the mutation and God made the plant like that. Maybe it was just there were 30 different plants, or, you know, however many different plants, and they all died except for that one. That one got to reproduce, and then that's how that adaptation happened. You know, that makes sense. There's so many things that don't make sense, though. It's like there's so many things that don't make sense. It's hard to get a grasp on what does make sense, because at the end of the day, everything roots back to the unknown, which is, why am I here? And that's a question I don't know if I'll ever be able to answer. I'll never really know. I don't know if I'll ever really know why I'm here, you know? And it's it's weird to me, you know? But I'm really glad I see it like this at the same time, because now I don't live my life for anybody else. I don't live my life for my parents, for my family. I care about them, and I always have them in mind, you know? But at the end of the day, if it's between me and my future and you know, what I want to do at college, or my life path, and what they want for me, I'm going to go with what I want. I'm going to take into consideration what they tell me, you know, and I'm going to really look at what they're saying, because they probably know a little bit more about life than I do, considering they're a little bit older, 2 or 3 times as old. But at the end of the day, if what they're saying doesn't make sense and they can't explain it to me, or I can see a logical fallacy in their explanation, you know, if I can see a problem with it, then I'm going to do what makes more sense, you know? And so far in my life, that has been one of the biggest keys to me stepping forward and self-improvement, you know? When you stop worrying about what everybody else thinks about you, what everybody else wants for you, what everybody else thinks, you know? And you focus on what actually matters, you start to realize there's a lot of shit that doesn't matter that people really focus on, you know? A lot of stuff. A lot of stuff, you know? A lot. You know, to the point where you don't know if you're. Sometimes I feel like my whole life doesn't matter, you know? But I know that's not true. Let me get this clear, okay? I'm not suicidal. That's not what I'm trying to say here. That's not. I'm cool. I'm straight, you know? But I just ponder these things, you know? I really think about them. And yeah, it's just a couple thoughts for today. Today's the 10th of June, I believe. No, the 9th of June of 2020. So yeah, if you enjoyed this video, say, oh, Eben, this video sucked, in the comments. You know, if you liked it, then like it. If not, then just dip out, you know. Peace, yo. Thanks for watching.